Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We're having a fun time already this morning. I'm joined by Dallas. Dallas, how are you?
I am wonderful.
You have so much energy this early in the morning. I'm trying to figure out how you're doing this. I'm still getting used to it myself. But you brought your friend, Red Fred.
Yeah, this is Red Fred.
Yes, and hopefully he stands. But he's so important that we wanted to make sure he got a spot in our interview lineup here this morning. So the Red Fred Project. Tell me about this. Where did your inspiration come for it?
Well, it's a star-crossed magical collaboration. I'm co-creating original children's books with children with critical illnesses. And the idea came December. My sister called me and told me about some friends of ours whose son was fighting an illness, significant life illness. And that question that came up for my sister that morning, what do we do? Like, what do we do when this happens again and again? You know, we live life, we hear about children who are facing really significant life challenges, and we always, what do we do? So that night, I was thinking about it, and I've been telling stories with Red Fred and his friends, the Jolly Troop. I've been telling stories for years to children and adults in a blog, and I thought, you know, these birds love children, and children love these birds, and we can make stories. We can make stories. So the idea was, let's find children who have critical illnesses. Let's allow their imaginative spark to come alive, and then let's make a book. Let's put a hardcover on it. Let's design it beautifully. Let's let them help me art direct it, photograph it, but this story will come from their little mind and their little heart and their spirit. And then let's put a book in their hands and say, way to go, you did this. Like, you made this book. So that's the main premise of the project, and it has some other wings to it as well.
Well, you are doing this not just one child, not 5, not 10. You're doing it with how many?
50.
50,
yeah.
And it's unique because it's 50 states, correct? I kind of like your tagline, I guess that's your tagline, 50 states, 50 children, 50 books.
Yeah.
And like you said, each child is so unique, and I mean, unfortunately with many of these children, they don't know how much time they have, and this is something that, you know, they get to utilize that creativity, and they have this outlet through you to share some of that inspiration, some of those ideas, like what's going on in their head.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to feel for that.
Yep. And so we do a number of workshops with each child, and it's not a handout in the sense of, like, you know, we're just going to put some staples and some paper together. No, we really talk about storyboarding. We talk about fonts. We talk about where they live and what they see, which characters do you want to use or not. So it really allows the child to get in this driver's seat and allow that inspiration of creativity and imagination. And I don't say what they can and cannot say. So it's going to be very beautiful. At the end of every book, there's 2 lessons that the child shares. Like, what is this all about? What is my book all about? What have I learned? And then these 2 lessons at the end, which are kind of like, just go right here and right here, and make a really beautiful statement about this child's life and what they've learned, and which are great lessons for kids to adults.
Dallas, you mentioned there are phases to each book that you create with each child. I would like, if we could, to go over this one.
Yes, please.
Tell me about this. This is with the child from Utah, Nathan. Tell me about this. How did you find him?
Way to go, Nathan. You're so awesome, buddy.
And I have to clarify, is he one of the Make-A-Wish kids? Do you know?
He actually,
I'm trying to figure out if I know him.
He did go on Make-A-Wish a few weeks ago.
Okay, because I think we've met him.
Oh,
is what's
great.
So special. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about Nathan.
Nathan is a 6-year-old who loves speedy things, like super fast things, trains, cars, rockets. Brilliant sense of humor, beautiful light just kind of streaming out of him. And when I approached him and was given the opportunity to meet him, the friends who put me in touch with him were just like, oh, this kid, like, he's gonna do it this great. So what we did is we went to Nathan, and I gave him a packet that this packet, I called it Let's Make a Book. So basically, this packet goes through a step-by-step process with the child. What is your story about? It's about facing fear. Is it about being brave? Is it about a surprise? And then from that, the next meeting is, who's in your story? Which of the birds do you want in it?
And it's called the Jolly Troop, right?
Jolly Troop,
and how many little birds do they get to choose from?
There's 9 of the Jolly Troop, and then there's a bad bird. His name's Dreadfred.
Oh, there's a bad bird.
He can even be.
There's a bad guy you can choose from. Didn't know that. What's the little guy we've got here?
So Nathan got to create his own bird. All the birds are made out of commas from different typefaces, and Nathan was able to make a bird that we've never used before, and Nathan got to decide his name. And that's part of the workshop as well. So.
Oh, is this who it is? Introducing Blue Lightning?
Yes.
Did he do that name?
That's all Nathan.
Oh,
it's Nathan.
That's adorable.
Yeah. So he then we go through storyboarding. What does storyboarding mean? And we sketch out what we think the scenes are going to look like. And then the last visit is photographing. Where does this take place? And you think about where a child lives, where they spend their time, especially children with these kind of conditions.
Yeah.
So we're in his front yard, right? We go to this big front yard tree, and I'm like, Nathan, where does Blue live? And he's like, there. So
no question.
I
he's
photograph it, right? I shoot it, and then I show Nathan. And he said, a little more sky. So I shoot it a little more sky, and I show. So he helps art direct the whole thing, and it all takes place actually in his front yard, and in his backyard, and in the dark, scary garage that's also in there.
And that's what's so special about it. I noticed in part of the collaboration that you do with the child, they get to pick a special place, like you said, that's unique to them. And it was Nathan's yard that he wanted to put in that book, because obviously when they look back and read this book, or even when relatives or family and friends, like that's something that came directly from Nathan's heart, because it's a special place to him. Those characters came from him, and this is a pretty hefty book he put together. There's a lot of pages in there. That's really great. Climbing with Tigers. If we are interested, I guess, in helping out the project and I guess even getting this book, how do we go about doing that?
Thanks for asking. You can go to redfredproject.com. On Friday, we will be launching our national Kickstarter campaign, which we're trying to get the word out to everyone. But on that web page, on the shop, it says shop. You'll see copies of the book. The other thing is that these books are meant to offset medical costs for families. So the proceeds of every single book, we just throw them back at the kid.
That's amazing.
So the family, the Glads, they've taken this in the way that I was hoping, and they're coming to the book signing on Friday night on the kickoff party, and they're going to be selling the books, and Nathan's going to be doing a signing as well.
Oh, he's going to be set up and decide. Oh, that's so special.
Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely excited for this.
Oh, how fun! And that's at Caputo's Market.
Caputo's Market,
downtown Salt Lake City.
Yep.
And that's wonderful. And I know you can go online to redfredproject.com.
Correct.
Right, to find out more information. Yep. And I'd like to spend a little bit of time briefly on the team that you put together for this, the people, the creative minds that you brought together.
Magical, beautiful, amazing.
I love your words for this.
All of them.
That's great. So how did you run into each other? I mean, I think for a project like this, to be able to bring in like-minded and like-hearted people to help out these kids in this way, were they people you've known before, or you just, by chance were like, hey, we're on the same line of thinking here, let's get together and make this happen? How did that happen?
Life is so wonderful, right? How it twists and bends and connects. And all these people I have met previously, 10 years, plus, and been involved with some sort of project with them where I really understand where their heart compass is. I understand their intention, and creatively, they do things beautifully. Like the projects that they're involved in have tons of heart, but they also look beautiful, and they tell stories effectively. So all of these people along the path, when it came to this point, it's also the kind of relationships that I'm like, I know I can count on these people. Like we have that history as well, just like I know they're going to help out. And so when I approached them, all of them are gracious. They all are doing their own things anyway, but we're putting this team together so that as we get the funds and we go over and across through the country trying to get the stories of the story making, I couldn't think of better people to be my backbone with this. Yeah.
That's great. Well said. So I get last you move along and you select these kids from all across the nation. That happens, of course, after you get those funds to move forward.
Right.
So it's up to everyone else to help you guys launch this, right?
And I just, everyone connects to it. It doesn't really matter what kind of social circle you're in or what background you're from. Like, I think everybody knows a family who has a child in a condition as such, and we wonder, what can we do? And I think they have a magical stardust like story. So let's make it a book. Let's do it. We can do it. We can self-publish all of these, and it's being published actually outside of Salt Lake City. So a local printer is doing it, and I feel so fortunate that just these great star alignments are coming together.
Well, it's a beautiful project. I'm so pleased that you were able to join us here this morning to share it with our audience. Chelsea. Very good. And and I want to give a little shout out to Nathan.
Yes.
Good job for putting this together. Nathan. That's so impressive. Yes. Climbing with Tigers. And remember, that is this Friday, September 13th. It starts at 7:30 at Caputo's Market. That is their Red Fred launch party. So go on over there in downtown Salt Lake City. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Dallas.
Thanks,
we
Chelsea.
really appreciate your time.
And
good luck with the project as it moves forward. We'll be right back after this quick break. We're going to be talking with Laura Dupuy with the Utah Council for Citizen Diplomacy.